Hello, everybody. I'm Jay Lynn, and today my main project is going to just be getting a whole bunch of interiors done. I'm just finding that I'm really piling up the empty buildings here, and I don't like that. So we'll head over to our spawn area and get a few done over there as well. And I also want to get a few custom trees done in some areas that I've really been wanting to get some trees in. But we're going to start with the interiors over here in our treehouse area. All these are just going to be houses for villagers, and between episodes, you can see I got a bunch of materials ready, so I won't need to do a bunch of gathering. And I think I'll show the process for the first one here. I think a lot of it'll just kind of be before and afters, just because it would take so long to show the process for all these. But yeah, I like to just find a spot for my kitchen and get a little kitchen floor in, find an area for my bed, and I always like to try to find a little extra seating area of some kind. And in some of the houses, when it works out, I try to squeeze in a fireplace. I didn't get too many fireplaces in, but yeah, nothing too fancy. Divvy things up a little bit, get some borders on the windows, start getting some color in with just some carpet and some paintings, especially with the new paintings. I just can't gush enough about the new paintings, and flowers, of course. And these ones in the treehouse area are all going to be librarians. It's going to kind of be my librarian area. And yeah, very simple, nothing too fancy in here. By no means, it could definitely step up, and I do want to step up my interior game, but when I was trying to get a whole bunch done, I'm just kind of repeating this process, and then I can always come back and really bring things up a level, but I just want to get something in all the buildings, so I just kept on going. I really liked how this brick one turned out here, and yeah, just repeated the process, and it took a long time. And I know I make it look really fast, but inventory management when you're doing interiors like this, it's about the worst. That's the worst time for inventory management, is working on the interiors. But yeah, feels really good starting to get these filled in. I really had fun with the different color combinations. I thought the green and blue and the red building was kind of interesting, and I always like a red and yellow combo. But I think my favorite was this yellow building up top with the blue and the white, and it's the tallest building, so the blue and the white, and you're already up in the sky. I just think it looked really cool. Then I went around the bottoms and covered up my kitchen floors and just made them look a little better. And we got an interior in all these buildings. And one thing I ended up doing is getting rid of this staircase here. I just didn't like the straight angle. It's been bugging me for a long time. I've been wanting to get rid of it, so I just took it down. I plan on doing something else with the mountain anyway. But this did send me off on a side project of extending the road down this mountain here quite a ways and having it meet up with my path over on my nature trail area. And I thought it ended up looking really good. I really like the path network that we're getting over here in our treehouse area. And I just think it looks a lot better not having that angled staircase going up the hill here. And looks way cooler having the nice winding path going down the mountain there. And we'll find a better way to get it going up the hill here, whether it's just going up this direction or maybe coming across here and wrapping around up. But yeah, again, it feels really good getting the interiors done. That's just something that makes my area feel a lot more complete. And another area I wanted to do that for is my jungle area over here. Got a bunch of houses over here. I've only got a couple interiors done, so we got a bunch of work to do. These ones are slightly bigger, but definitely the same old idea. So once again, we're just going to go with some before and afters. Interiors just don't make for the best videos, but I do want to show everything in my world at least once in an episode. So, and yeah, we're going to have the upstairs be micro farms eventually, and I'm just not ready for that point. But yeah, that's what these houses are actually going to be. But just getting these bottom floor interiors going to feel a lot better. So I'm just going to let you enjoy for a second. And last but not least was the big orange one on top of the hill, and I really like how this one came out using the oxidized copper as the accent. I just think the orange and the copper just look really good together. And this one was just a little bigger, so I had a little more room to get a little more creative. But yeah, feels good to have all these interiors done. At least the bottom floors. The top floors, microfarms, I'll do it another time. But I did let myself get sidetracked once again on a couple side projects, cleaning up this staircase for one thing, and I've been meaning to find a place to use a bunch of the sniffer flowers since I have my little sniffer farm going now, so I've got a whole bunch of them. So I just found a couple patches to just put a whole bunch of the torch flowers in the pitcher pods, and I just mixed and matched, and they're going to look really cool when they grow in. We'll come back at the end once they've all grown in. But then I really wanted to get a little waterfall in here. I just saw a spot that was just calling my name, and those who've been following along know I like to make a waterfall when I see the opportunity, and I think this is a real cool area just because it's going to be a cool view from our path over there. And now that I'm just really comfortable with the basics of putting a waterfall together, it's a fairly easy little project to just really add a lot to your area. And as always, got to finish off with some greenery. But yeah, very simple little addition that just looks really good. Now, sometimes the super clear water with the vibrant visuals does make it kind of tough, but it also looks really good in some cases. I like the reflections off it. We also got one over here that I didn't quite get on the clip there, but I just think it looks really good. And again, we'll come back later once the flowers have kind of grown in. They take a really long time to grow. I'll come back and actually bone meal them at the end, but yeah, it feels good to have made some progress on the jungle area. But now I want to get going on some custom trees. I've been wanting to come over here and start slowly but surely replacing some of these vanilla jungle trees with custom jungle trees. We're going to finally do that today, starting with this one right here in the middle of town. And you'll notice that I am off of vibrant visuals at the moment, and that's because I did this on a stream. Now, this fun stream ended up being about a 3-hour stream, and this was my main project the whole time. Obviously, I didn't stay on perfect task, but that does go to show you a pretty big tree we ended up building here. Unfortunately, I didn't do very good at taking as many clips as I should have, so I missed a major portion of me getting a gradient going up here and starting on the branches. So it's all on stream though if you want to check out my real thoughts on it, my thought process. But yeah, my main goal on this tree was just having it be a nice airy jungle tree and have the branches all real up high at the top so it's not blocking any view. And when I was putting the leaves in, I was just trying to be really careful of not making it too thick and leaving lots of space. And spoiler alert, I think it ends up being the coolest tree I've ever built and the best I've ever done at actually creating that airy look. I think it looks awesome up there. We also missed me putting the glow berries on. We're going to let them hang down and it's going to look really good. And I did going with the gradient theme. I wanted to make the bottom even darker, so I did some strip spruce at the bottom to make it even darker. And now we're back in vibrant visuals. And yeah, I couldn't be happier with this tree. Obviously it was a big project, but it ends up pretty much being the centerpiece of the town at this point. So well worth the time. I liked it so much, I wanted to do it again. So this one I wasn't on stream, and while I was gathering wood for it, I always like to stay up at night a lot of times and hunt some creepers, but this one really snuck up on me and the skeleton shot me right back into him. Horrible death. But they happen when you play like I do. But yeah, I thought we'd get another tree going, kind of on the other side of the tavern here. And same process, going with the gradient as I go up and just get some nice spread out branches nice and high and try to have everything be nice and airy. This one took a little less time, but I would say if I was to stay completely focused, these are still probably an hour and a half plus tree to build. But when you really think about it, for what they're adding to the area, well worth the time spent. I think this just looks awesome. It's so good on having the airiness in the leaves and just walking through town now. It just adds so much, gives that organic feel, and getting the view from out here, of course, like I said, they end up being the centerpiece of town. And I do plan on adding a few more of them around the area, but for now, even just having these two, I think is super cool. And there was one interior I wanted to get done over here, which is my windmill over here, which eventually I'm going to have a villager-powered wheat farm upstairs. But like I said, today we're just focusing on getting some living areas in the downstairs, and voila! Little magic. We got a cool little interior here for a wheat farm. Again, I won't stress enough, I realize how simple they are and kind of repetitive, but just having anything in here at all is much better than having nothing. And yeah, at this point I was fairly burnt out on the interiors, but I was definitely in a custom tree mode, and I've had this area over here in my elven cave that I've been planning on wanting to do something really cool with, this little centerpiece here, and I was thinking a statue at one point, but I think I've got a really cool idea for a custom tree here. So, your little arches have done well holding the spot, but I'm really looking forward to the upgrade here. I'm just going to let it play out and catch you by surprise. Now for what's going to really make this tree special, and to go with my magical elven cave here, we're going glass for the leaves and the flowers. And spoiler alert again, it turns out awesome. Enjoy. You can see I wasn't messing around with the glass. We got a whole bunch put in here, but what's so cool about using the glass is you can still see the skeleton of the tree, which is something I always kind of hate covering up sometimes. But again, we're doing something different with this tree, taking all the torches away. And I know it seems kind of crazy at first, but we just put this light on the bottom here, and you can think, where'd the tree go? It disappeared. Why would you build that tree and not be able to see it? But I'm once again going to go with the theme I've been going with in the cave here, and that's bringing in the natural light from the top. So I took many trips up and down, just going in and poking a hole in from the top, pretty much above every branch, at least one hole above each branch. And you can see it brings the natural light in, and it just looks way cooler, and it makes it so it lights up in the day and is dark at night. And even the natural moonlight lights it up a little bit at nighttime, but it's just really cool having it be something that turns off in the nighttime. And there, my landing wasn't too smooth, but you can see in the daytime, it just looks so awesome getting that natural light brought in. And this is a rainy day, and it is kind of cool having the rain come down as well. I don't even think you're going to be able to see that on YouTube very well, but it is kind of cool having the rain fall on the branches. But it does change the lighting in the cave. I've discovered when it's raining outside, it really makes it look weird in my cave here with my sky, but I think it still looks really cool. And like I said, being able to see the skeleton of the tree still with the branches, and I'll actually come back and poke a few more holes in from the top, but I couldn't be happier with our little tree here. I think our magical elven cave here is just getting cooler and cooler all the time. But while I was down here in the caves, a couple things I wanted to do over here in my dwarven cave, starting with finishing this one geode that I just didn't have enough of the amethyst for at the time when I started this, but it's been pretty long since then, and I've found a couple geodes in my travels, and I made sure to get the amethyst, so we had enough to get some put in at this point. Another tedious task, having to work from underneath. Gas would be nice for this, but getting them down in the cave would be a bit of a challenge. But I really like our little amethyst cave we got going here, and I think getting the amethyst right above the castle there just extends on our area so much. And another thing I wanted to expand on was the purple glass with the natural light coming through in the daytime. So we're going to spread it all the way around on this side at this point. I had to start by getting rid of these mines that were up here. And I wanted it to be going at right about this level, so I needed to expand this a little bit to give me some place to put the glass, and it ended up being a little bit of a terraforming project. But at this point, it's going to meet up real nicely with the glass we already got there, and it was a big, tedious project getting this put in. And you can imagine how much glass I've gone through this episode. I wish I would have been keeping better track. Ended up having to fill in a couple big holes here, using what materials I had handy. Don't have much over here at the Dwarven Cave, actually, but yeah, I took the torches away so that I can bring the natural light in and let it do its job. As you can see, not much light coming through at the moment, but once I go up and down a few times, we're going to be looking good. And oh man, I think this looks awesome. I can't stress enough how happy I am with the idea of building in a cave, but really bringing in the daylight nighttime cycle. And you can see how vibrant, for lack of a better word, that it is at the daytime. I just think it looks so cool. It's really got me liking my Amethyst Cave here. I really like all the different unique areas I got going on. Yeah, I thought we would end with just one more look at a few of the projects we've done. I did come back and poke a couple more holes in the tree here, and now that it's a non-rainy day, you can see it's even brighter than the first time you saw it. And oh man, I got no words on how much I really like this tree. It's easily said all the time as far as something being your favorite project, but definitely my favorite custom trees I've ever built were all in this episode. And yeah, getting our path network looking real cool over here in our treehouse area, and just knowing that I've got interiors and all these tree houses, I'm feeling like the projects I've got started over here I'm pretty well finished with, and now I'm ready to expand on the area with some new stuff. So I'll be back here sooner than later doing something with that. And one more look at our other custom trees we got going over here. Now that the glowberries have grown in a little bit, I think they're looking really cool. They actually look a lot better than I thought they would. Now, I do need to come back and trim some that don't have the actual glowberries on them to make sure they actually get the glowberries on them, because it does help them light things up at night. But I think the actual vines are just looking really cool. I might need to come and trim them every now and then, but that's okay. It's fun having it change as it goes. And yeah, the jungle area as well. I did come back and do some bone meal on these flowers and just getting some grass in our little patches here, and I think our little sniffer patches are looking really cool. Man, I'm just really liking all the different areas I've got going. I've got so many different vibes going on in this world, yet everything is relatively close. That's what's so cool about it. I think this little flower forest back here and just our new waterfalls, just everything. I just couldn't be happier with how this world's coming along, and getting the interiors done down here. And we're really starting to chip away at a lot of the unfinished projects that I've had in the back of my mind, and it's feeling really good. And yeah, as always, really appreciate you all for coming, and really appreciate any likes and subs if you like what we got going on here, and I hope to keep it coming for you. Have a good day.